Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today in the Education Corner. This podcast is set up by Education Choices magazine, and if you haven't checked out our autumn edition yet, make sure you go and have a look. It's got some great articles, and today we will be speaking to Joanna, who is the head of the Rowan School, which is based in Wimbledon, and she is going to be moving next Easter to become the head at Shrewsbury House School, which is in Surbiton, and she will also be becoming the executive head of the Shrewsbury House School Trust. We have a great conversation with her. It's very interesting, so please stay tuned. Thank you for coming. Enjoy!
Lovely to meet you, Joanna, this morning, and to see your office, even though I can't be there in person, which looks like you've got spectacular views out over Rowan's School. It's really, we're pleased to be in contact with you because we understand that you have an exciting new role ahead. Do you want to just tell me a bit about your move in the coming months to a partner school?
Yes, certainly. Well, good morning, and thank you for spending the time with me today. I am very fortunate to be part of a trust of schools called the Shrewsbury House School Trust, and there are 3 schools within that trust. I'm currently the head of one of them, which is the Rowan School in Wimbledon, and next Easter I will be taking up the role of executive head of the trust, and I'll be taking up, as part of that, headship of Shrewsbury House School, which is based in Surbiton.
And Shrewsbury is a boys only school.
That's right. So
and you'll be the head right the way through to 13 plus. Is that correct?
That's right. The 2 pre-preps are co-educational, and they go from 3 to 7 years old. And then Shrewsbury House is a boys prep school that goes from 7 to 13.
And are you going to be very sad parting with the Rowans, where you've been for quite some time?
Well, this is a very magical school. I have the most idyllic setting. It is an absolute pleasure to walk in every morning. I don't know if you've been able to visit, but the outdoor area is just stunning. It was a former house on a beautiful private road, so it feels so homely when you arrive. And I have a fantastic staff team here. You should hear the laughter. Every day we are laughing at different things, and that really permeates through to the children. They feel happy and secure, and they enjoy their time. So I will certainly miss the daily contact here, but one of the real positives about this role is that as I'm overseeing the 3 schools in the trust, I will still be very much in touch with the Rowans and visiting regularly. And I'm delighted that my current deputy, Lizzie Spratt, will be stepping up to take over the headship at the Rowans. So again, we'll have lots of close contact through that.
That's excellent, and lovely continuity as well for the school to have the.
Yes.
And so I assume you'll be appointing a new deputy, or is that something?
Yes, that's all in train as well, and it's really reassuring for the parents because they all really value the ethos that we have here at the Rowans, and knowing they all know Miss Spratt really well, so knowing that she'll be able to take that forwards is a really secure position to be in.
Yeah, and lovely for the children too.
Yes, they're very excited about it.
Yes, yeah, very, very, very good for them. And how have you found the last 6 months being ahead and having to oversee the ship, so to speak, through the lockdown and the many changes that we're all living with?
I think it's been immensely challenging for all heads, and we've had to, where possible, plan ahead at the same time as reacting to government changes, which often come quite late after leaked documents give us a clue as to what might be coming. But I think all of the schools of the trust have done a fantastic job, and we are fortunate to be so well supported by brilliant teams across the trust. And I was reflecting on the silver linings that, in fact, there are aspects that we have discovered that were very successful and that we will be taking forwards. So, for example, with the reading scheme, it's so important that children have access to good quality books and to keep progressing the development of reading. And we've been able to enable all of the children of different ages to access texts online with associated activities such as little comprehensions or quizzes. And whilst, of course, it's lovely to hold a book and read a book, at times where that's not possible, then we can keep the reading scheme going. And also providing audiobooks for children. And that's something that we've really reflected on, because here in Wimbledon, we're a very international community, and we have a vast proportion of our students speak other languages than English. So even in more normal times, providing them with normal reading books as well as with audiobooks will really support them in their development of English and their learning of the structures of sentences. So there are definitely things that we've learned that we'll be taking forwards.
Are you becoming more, I've had to over the years become more accepting of things like Kindles and the fact that they can look up vocabulary and just download a book rather than having the paper copy. I've had to rather reluctantly
see the benefits of both.
Yes.
We embrace technology at the Rowans, and I know through the trust that's also true. We're not replacing our traditional curriculum. It is still magical to sit in a library and to have your selection of books in front of you. But the online world, of course, is ever developing and really important. And one of the things that we've focused on is what enhances and enriches the learning for the children without just letting it encompass everything they do. And of course, a big part of that is the online safety program. So we are a national online safety accredited school, and we do a lot of work with the children through the curriculum, but also with our parents and with our governors to make sure that all of us understand how to keep children safe online. And the staff have a lot of training in how to develop that through their curriculum so that the children know what to do if they encounter anything that they're uncomfortable with.
That's really interesting. And what a wonderful initiative as well.
Very timely. Obviously, we launched this before we knew we were going into lockdown and distance learning, but the children were already aware of these types of aspects of the online world. So we've reinforced it, but we were delighted that that was already in place.
Yeah. And making sure going forwards that the children are able to use the many different tools that are available online, but also protected whilst doing so. I think that's excellent. Talk to me a little bit about the trust. I mean, obviously now your role is going to be very major as you're kind of ahead of more than just Shrewsbury. Just kind of what work do you do that? So there's obviously the Shrewsbury schools, the Rowans,
Shrewsbury House Pre-Prep.
Yeah, and Shrewsbury House Pre-Prep. And do you share resources? Is the aim that you all work as a group, I suppose, in a not dissimilar way to the GDST?
Yes, absolutely. So professional learning is something that's really key to our trust. It's one of the real benefits of working at this trust. So we all value education very highly, and that includes our own learning as well as the learning for the children. We have a coaching culture, so all of the staff within the trust, it doesn't matter if they're teaching staff or support staff, they are all invited to take part in a coaching course. There's lots of opportunity to engage in whole trust insets, but also to share practice across settings. So when we are in non-COVID times and we are able to visit each other, we send staff to each of the different settings. For instance, if they're an English teacher, they might want to see, well, what's happening in one of the other schools, or indeed what's happening if I'm a year 2 teacher, what happens in year 3 and 4? Where do my children go on to? So that we're really linking the curriculum up in the very best way that we can and learning from the expertise we've got within our trust.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's just becomes so enriching, doesn't it, for everybody? And just going back to the whole lockdown, are there any, I'm sure, I know many heads have been sharing anecdotes and snippets of kind of more humorous or more interesting moments, because obviously it was a fairly extreme time families, for schools, for everybody. Were there any moments that particularly stand out or stood out for you, of the community pulling together, or a child kind of touching your heart and making all the hard work so worthwhile?
So many of those moments. I think what really struck us as a staff was how much we missed the daily contact with children. Because even though that we had a great online platform where we could upload video messages, audio messages, it's not the same as being with the children and having those magical moments. We still managed to recreate it, and it was wonderful to see their posts. Every now and again, they put up something specific. Oh, I did this at the weekend. I thought you might like to see it. But I think the standout moment, if you asked my staff, we all still laugh about this. I came up with this wonderful idea because it was all over Zoom. Everybody was doing these brilliant songs, and choirs were coming together, and orchestras performing in different ways. So I said, wouldn't it be wonderful? We can't have our Easter concert that the children usually perform for parents. Why don't we as a staff get together virtually and perform our Easter song? So we discovered that due to the Wi-Fi lag, we couldn't do that live as a group. So we each had to record our own segment and send it in, and one of our staff members kindly put it all together. This was early on in the process, so I hadn't quite realised that it involved wearing headphones, listening to a backing track, and just singing. And all of the staff, they are so wonderful. They just did it. They didn't question it. But when we reflected on it afterwards, we were all laughing that I had to go down to the end of the garden because my family were asking what I was doing, or why do you sound like that, Mummy? It's a very strange voice. So together, we put together a wonderful performance that was much appreciated by our families. But individually, the staff, we all had quite fun and reflective moments about our vocal talents.
That's a wonderful story. Were the children thrilled? I bet they were.
Oh, they absolutely loved it. And they sent back messages and songs of their own as well, which was really lovely to see. But I think the trauma of trying to record that will live with us. They've asked me not to perform.
So are you going to be repeating it for Christmas?
No, they've asked me not to. We've come up with another plan, which is just as good, but I can't reveal that yet.
Can you do the pantomime online if needed?
That will be revealed at the end of term.
Okay, well, do make sure that you tell me, or let me tune in. So obviously it has been a difficult time, but on top of that, you're also a mum.
Yes.
Obviously, am I correct in saying your daughter's at university now?
That's right. She's in her final year at university. And in fact, in the last week, she's decided that she would like to apply for teacher training. So this is not a direction I was anticipating, but I'm delighted to think that she might be taking that forwards, because she's really passionate about education, having grown up seeing all the time doing, and actually being a huge help to me in many ways through the years in supporting that. Both of my children, when they were young, they would have to come into the classroom with me during the holiday period to help put up displays and cut out resources ready for the term ahead. And as they've grown up, my daughter's now 20 and my son is 18, they've both taken on even greater responsibilities of, for instance, even helping me to film the virtual open day that's on our website. So it's always a team effort. I have a very close family. I'm fortunate to live close to my wider family, but we are very supportive of each other. And it's a really lovely experience to think that she might be interested in education now for herself.
That's fantastic. My son's also at university, but I don't know that he's going to become a teacher. One final question, really, going forwards. You're obviously very excited about the new role at Shrewsbury, and I understand you have been already involved with the parents there, and are already, am I correct? I think we were talking about earlier, you're already beginning to meet the year 5 parents coming up.
That's right. So fortunately, because I'm within the trust, I'm able to have a really strong induction. So I already know most of the staff very well, and I'm able to have induction meetings ahead of the start date, which is very useful. And I'm able to attend events either online or when we can in person, so that the parents get to know me better. Year 5 is a key time in the school because the parents all have their meeting with the head to discuss what their future school choices might be. And Kevin Doble runs those meetings and is fantastic with sharing his knowledge and expertise of the sector. And I'm now joining him for each of those meetings so that the parents can feel assured that this is a very strong process that he's beginning with them and I will be taking forwards.
Yeah. And a lovely sense of continuation. And are you noticing, I mean, obviously the online provision at the Rowans was above and beyond, but have you noticed any difference in the children's progression and levels? Have you felt that there's a learning gap? Are you feeling that you're managing to, through the work that you've been able to do since September, to close that gap?
Yes, I think we have a really supportive parent body and they really got involved in the distance learning that we offered. So between what our teachers did and the support from the parents, the children had in the main, a very good experience through distance learning. Obviously, there were challenges and certain families would have felt it more challenging because of their own time pressures on that. But we worked really closely together and listened to each family about what they would need for that period. So coming back to school this September, we've been quite pleased really to see how they've come back into school. And of course, we've had a whole new intake. We have new children joining in reception, new children joining in kindergarten. So it's helping them to feel comfortable in the environment, even when we haven't been able to do all the welcome and induction events that we would normally have done. So we had to reshape that to make sure that they still had that warm welcome to the school and felt comfortable. And I think that the fact that they are all bouncing in every day, in fact, yesterday evening, I was at the gate saying goodbye to everybody. And one of the parents stopped me and said, "Oh, I just want to say that, these children are so happy to come to school." And that really is due to the staff making them feel so safe and comfortable in this environment that they can therefore relax and learn. So getting that feedback is amazing because we are working incredibly hard with all these additional measures in place to still deliver the curriculum and to provide additional time for the children to talk about their feelings and how they felt over this period. And indeed, some of them are still feeling it now. So we want them to be able to talk and have space and teach them the vocabulary to share those feelings with us. And it's really nice that the parents have recognised that and can see how happy the children are.
And a compliment very much to yourself and the staff.
Yeah, it was lovely. It's so lovely to get that feedback because, as I say, we do behind the scenes, we work incredibly hard. And when it's recognised and noted, it always makes it feel all that much more worth it.
Well, I'm very impressed and I can't wait to come around the Rowans and Shrewsbury going forwards.
I very much look forward to welcoming you.
Yes, exactly. It's definitely something to put in the diary for a future day. And I'm sure many parents will be so thrilled to be able to listen to you talking so passionately and so fondly about the trust and the schools and the Rowans.
Oh, thank you. Well, ultimately, it's a happy place to be.
Yes, it's certainly your room, I can see, which obviously listeners won't be able to, is filled with children's drawings, paintings. I can see it all around you. So I think I'd quite like to come there myself.
You're very welcome.
But thank you so much, Joanna. And we will look forward to seeing you in the coming months in your new role.
Lovely.
And it sounds like it's going to be an exciting time.
It certainly will be. And thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you again to Joanna for coming on and speaking to us today. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Education Corner. Stay tuned for more episodes to come, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day.